More breaking update coming in, and WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange walks free. Those are the shots of him landing back home. I believe he has in fact landed in Australia. Those are the pictures on your screen there right now. This is after 12 years of incarceration that Julian Assange has walked free from jail. He's back in Australia after settling the case against him in that plea deal with the US government. Let me go across to my colleague Disha for more on this. Disha, just bring the perspective for our viewers on the fact is that Assange had to get into a plea deal with the US in order to walk free. His wife is, we've seen, thanking supporters, welcoming this move, of course, but it is a bittersweet moment of sorts for Assange and his family.
Right, Tanima. As the visuals show, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has in fact arrived back home in Australia, landing at Canberra airport mere minutes ago. And as you mentioned, it is indeed a bittersweet moment for him as well as his family, because after over a decade-long battle, he has finally been able to return home and walk out a free man after signing a record US plea deal where he in fact pled guilty to one US espionage charge in US Commonwealth Island, Saipan, where he signed this deal. And all the years that he spent in incarceration was in fact counted, and now he's been released as a free man. He, as you mentioned, the decade-long battle from taking asylum at an Ecuador embassy to being arrested in the UK in 2019 to now finally being released after years of being spent in isolation. So he in fact actually refused to step into the United States to sign this deal and instead landed at Saipan, which is a US Commonwealth island near Australia, earlier today, where he signed this deal. And now that he's landed at Canberra, NDTV actually spoke to Assange's legal advisor earlier today, Jeffrey Robertson, who explained how this deal was in fact cracked and what are some of the legal challenges behind it. Saying that a similar deal was actually used to release another Australian journalist, David Hicks, who was detained by the US military over a decade ago. He also noted that the timing of this deal is crucial because at a time when both US and UK are headed to the polls later this year. And Assange was, as I mentioned, isolated in prison for the last 5 years, and even before that isolated at the Ecuadorian embassy. And this has in fact taken a toll on his health as well, as mentioned by his legal advisor, Robertson, because he spent years holed up in a small cell. So this has severely impacted his health. WikiLeaks will actually have a press conference later today where they will discuss the future of the organization. They have been crowdfunding all over social media to raise funds for Assange as well as his organization. Back to you, Tanima.
Disha, thank you so much for joining us with that. So those are the first shots coming of Julian Assange, a free man now after entering into a plea deal with the US government there.